Welcome to Subramani. I have been talking a lot about succession planning for IFAs apart from making a will, and today let us see why succession planning is not as simple as it looks. So if you're an IFA, what are your choices? If you're an IFA and say you think you have another 4-5 years to go with your business and you wish to sell it off in the future, what you can do is tie up with a younger IFA and do a profit sharing. Maybe you start with 90% belonging to you, and after 5 years or 6 years 70% belonging to the new IFA and 30% belonging to you. This way there can be a smoother transition. Of course, there are various other methods. You could ask a younger IFA or an aggregation of IFAs to buy your business. But if anything involves an initial high payout, your options may be limited. Of course, there is a chance that you sign up with the wrong person and you don't get paid and you run those risks. So let us look at the difference between many people in my lectures have asked me the difference between writing a will and succession planning and saying how are they related. Well, succession planning for your business is somewhat like writing your business will, right? So it's more or less what should happen to your business after you die. However, the planning has to happen today. It cannot happen after you die. And the other thing is, in writing a will, you're expecting a passive acceptance of the assets by your family, whereas in your business you have to have an active acceptance. The person who is going to take it over has to run it, provided you're interested. If you don't care what happens to your clients after you die, then it's a different matter. But if you are interested in knowing that the clients continue to get service well, you need to understand that succession planning goes far beyond making a will. In fact, I request your indulgence. This is going to be a longish talk, maybe about 15-16 minutes. So welcome to this. Succession planning, first of all, comprises of the process of identifying and training new leaders who can take the business in their hands and run it. It is not just giving away your mutual fund portfolio to your wife or children. There is no active involvement. In fact, if they don't understand how it runs, all they have to do is sell it off and put it in an index fund, and that will be taken care of. Or you go to another IFA and say, in case of my death, please manage the assets for me. That's passive, whereas here it has to be active. The person who takes it over has to be running it, right? And this could be perhaps your biggest asset. Assuming you have a 1 crore annual trail. Now 1 crore annual trail is not a small amount of money. 1 crore annual trail is equivalent to having a 10 crore fixed deposit giving you 10% interest, right? So you will not throw away a 10 crore asset. Why would you throw away a 70-80 crore or a 100 crore AUM saying after me it doesn't matter? So finding good leaders who will take over and run it properly is important. That will ensure that your clients get good service and your next of kin or your family gets next good income, which means it could be run by somebody on a profit sharing basis with your family for 4-5 years and then completely take over, right? Several people have expressed the need for succession planning, especially during COVID times with so many deaths and all over the world. So people are suddenly waking up and saying, I need to write my will, I need to do succession planning. So according to if your business is a family business and you are running it, assuming that you have employees, the gap between you and your best employee could be so huge. So which means your best employee may not be able to take it over and run it, may not have the dynamic qualities. If that person doesn't have the dynamic qualities and nobody from your family is interested, which is bound to happen, because if you are well off, you have one child or you have 2 children, both who don't think they want to be in this profession or business, and there's enough confusion. Do you want to be an RIA? Do you want to be an MFD? What is the difference, right? So next of kin may not be interested in doing this. So then you have to find a successor. Could be your employee, could be your friend, could be your brother, could be your neighbor, whoever, somebody outside the family, right? But the failure is more likely when you are 45 years of age or 48 years of age, and then death happens. At 55-60 there is a decent chance that people are ready for a departure, but at a younger age there is less chance. So first of all, to assume that somebody from your family is interested in this may be wrong. It is also possible that if you have two sons, both sons may be thinking that they are going to get it, so both may not be paying enough attention, or both could be paying a lot of attention. So it's better that you clarify. If you have a daughter and a son-in-law, then the daughter may be interested. Better to sit and talk with them. Your family will be well integrated if they are young. However, if your children are married and they are busy in their own professions, very unlikely that they will be wanting to run it. And if your spouse is not capable of running it, then there is no question of there being a family running it. So it has to be an outsider, right? How you distribute your personal wealth doesn't matter, because then you decide whether you want to give more to your son or more to your daughter or more to you. That is up to you. It doesn't really matter. But here, don't give away this business and tell the others, and because I'm giving him this business, I'm giving him less money. It will be found with too much of resentment. So unless that person wants the business, do not give it. So this is lesson number 1. Don't say I'm giving away this business worth so much to my son, so I'm giving everything else to my daughter. If your son is not interested in the business, he will feel cheated, right? So if you think that your family business is run by a nice constitution, properly run and mutually agreed upon, then there is a possible distribution of wealth where this can play a role. Otherwise, no, it doesn't make any sense to use this as part of your will or part of your wealth distribution. Business, just because your children take over the business, you think it will be well run, you're mistaken. Your children may not be interested. Your child who is interested should take it over, and maybe you put a price to it, but don't put a price anywhere near market value, because he has got to still build it. If you're alive and you are and you're going to give it to your son, better give it to him, or you want to give it to your daughter or son-in-law, whoever, better involve them at least as soon as possible, the minute you decide that you will give it away, so that they understand all aspects of the business. The path of a success, of growth of a business cannot be governed by you, or simply by bequeathing the entrepreneur's track record cannot be bequeathed, right? So all you can bequeath is the business, the number of clients, etc., but you cannot give away everything so easily. An effective succession plan should assess the strengths and weakness of your children. If suppose they are not capable, or if they are not interested, then you better get an outsider to run it, and put your children in positions where they can control what that fellow is doing. Give him a salary, but remember, in 4-5 years it will disintegrate if somebody from the family is not running it. Succession plan is not as simple as putting in place a will. Will is easy, you just have to write. It is just a document which says so and so will get so much, and so that is much easier. Ownership and succession of business and management is difficult, so keep the ownership and management separate. If your employees are going to run it, let them run it. Let your children understand what are the numbers to monitor and what is to be done. Let them act like owners. Let them not act like owners and managers. Just because your son has got to run it and he has nothing else to do, he should not come and ruin it, because then the stream of cash flow will just shut up, and the clients and the employees might be just taking him for a ride by putting their own ARN numbers, etc. Please be careful about your family being cheated also. If you want to create this as a big business, you're better off creating your own LLP and or a private limited company, bringing in outsiders and making sure that your friend or somebody is the auditor to make sure that the employees are bringing in the business is kept here, and you bring in an outsider to run it, and that outsider should have a lion's share, not your children. So take into consideration all these things, do the documentation properly, and hand it over perfectly, because of course you will need legal help in all the drafting, so don't try doing it yourself. Or even better, so what Sapient has done, you put together a few people, so you could find your own group and create another Sapient, right? So thank you.